Three, two, one. Hey everybody, thanks for joining us on the Secret Characters podcast again. So today we got a real treat. I've got Wildcard782 and Totobal, I hope I'm saying that right, of the competitive Street Fighter 1 community. And if you're like me and you remember Street Fighter 1, you know that was a game with only 2 playable characters. So I got Wildcard and Toto here. They're gonna tell us what's up. First off, you guys, could you just tell me how this all kind of started? So, were you guys like playing vanilla Street Fighter 1 in a corner somewhere and then this boss hack just comes along and everything changed? Or was it kind of a situation where the boss hack just developed a community around it? What exactly happened here?
All right, so I'm going to take the reins on this one because I'm a day one, so I'll probably be able to give a pretty good explanation. So we actually started off as part of a different fighting game server. It was for JoJo's Venture, which is like if any of you have played Heritage for the Future, it's like the first version of that. And there wasn't for one of our April Fool's Day things, we just added a miscellaneous channel to our server called Street Fighter 1 General, and no one really thought much of it at the time. And I was just like, there really isn't a server for this game. Like, we could probably just make one. The Gyro Man's like, yeah, sure. So we made the server, and I had known about Plus Plus at the time, but I was like, it seems like a pipe dream. Like, it doesn't really seem to be compatible with Fightcade. And there's no server for it, or individual room. So for a good week or so, we kind of just played vanilla, and there wasn't really much to say. We kind of just vanilla's pretty simple. You just kind of learn the special inputs, and that's it for the most part.
That's hard enough in Street Fighter 1, though, right? That's pretty tough.
Yeah, you get used to it, but it's definitely a different system. Because in Street Fighter 1, the game was made with pressure pads in mind. So in order to judge the strength of your punch or kick, it only considers your attacks inputted on release. So you can press the button, you can hold the button, but until you release it, you're not going to get an attack out. So
is it special inputs? So it's almost like a negative edge type thing, or is it like one step further?
Yeah, it's like negative edge, but like pure negative edge. Like, you can't. The best way that I've always found to do special inputs myself is just press this attack button before the motion even starts, do the motion, and at the very end of the motion, when you're completing the end motion or the end direction, just release it. So you want to do hold, motion, release.
So there we have it, a new term, true negative edge. I think we need to get that added to the big fighting game glossary. I think true negative edge needs to be a thing in more games.
And then so we were just playing vanilla, and we were kind of ready to put it aside. It's like, this is pretty neat, but there's it's kind of shallow. There's one character, and I don't want to be mean, but they don't really feel that good to play. The jump squat's insane. Their normals are pretty bad. You just kind of do, and of their 3 specials, one of them's not even that good. So you're just kind of doing DP and fireball at each other, and maybe the occasional weird normal, a jump kick or something, and that's it. But then one day I was kind of just sitting there and I was bored, and I was like, well, wait, Plus Plus is a patch. Why don't I just patch it onto regular Street Fighter, and you could just play it on Fightcade that way through the vanilla lobby? Because it'll flash an error hey, these ROMs are wrong, but it doesn't stop you from playing. So I was like, why don't we just try it? And I guess no one thought to do it before. I gave it a try, and it worked. And from there, everything kind of started. Because it's you take a roster and you bump it up from let's be generous. I mean, it's 2 characters, but it's really 1 on 2 different sides. You bump the cast up from 1 to 11 or 12. there's a whole new game here, and these CPU characters are like totally freaky in how they play. Like they don't like none of them play like each other at all. Like some of them have crouches, some of them can't even jump. Like it's a whole spectrum of like what characters have and what they don't. It's really fun. And so just with the pure intrigue of that alone, we were able to get a decent size. And by decent size, I'd say like, for a game like SF1, I mean it is decent size. We got like I think an 8-person, like a 5 to 8-person tourney, I think, within the first month. And yeah, we've had like times where no one's playing. We've had times where like we get like 10-person tourneys. But overall, it's for the kind of game it is. It's pretty good sized community.
And so now, if I think I want to confirm this, I'm pretty sure I saw it, but now you don't have to play with ROMs, right? They've added this game to Fightcade, so you can just go jump in, right? You don't have to like ROM shenanigans or anything.
No, yeah, that I want to say a year or so back they added plus plus as a lobby. So if you want to hop on, um, you're gonna have to know how to select characters and stuff. But if you just want to give it a try, yeah, it's on there. And I think I want to say whatever method that people use to like get the ROMs, like it works. I remember when the lobby first dropped, the ROM that was associated with it was kind of bugged, so you had to do some jerry rigging. But it should be good now.
Yeah, and that's awesome. I remember. I think it was Umeji. You guys are using the Umeji hack, correct? Is that?
Yes, we are.
Yeah, I remember when that came out, and I played it, and it was really cool. I thought at the time, but I never foresaw Fightcade or any of that happening. So I mean, it is kind of difficult. I feel like to select characters because you have to do button prompts. So when you guys first started doing tournaments, were there like situations where somebody said, "Hey, I was trying to get Adon, I got Sagat," or vice versa? Does that ever happen, or is that?
Oh no, yeah, for sure. And you could always tell too, because like there'd be a tournament and like this guy's been birdie the whole bracket, and all of a sudden you see Ryu come out. It's like, oh, they missed the prompt, because you have to know the timing. It's like you have to hold the button, and then once you get to a certain like screen, you release it. But if you're just not on your controller, like you just forget. Or you pressed it too late or something, yeah. And usually in those situations, it's not a big deal. We're just like, it's fine. You can just reset. Like we know what you were trying to do. It's cool.
Yeah.
But no, it definitely happens. Or someone's just like, yeah, or someone's trying a character and like, oh, crap, I forget. If I don't want to play the character I usually do, but I forget their input. And so like, in the server, we have a pinned message for every character's buttons.
So Totobal, Wildcard here, he was day one. What about you? How did you find this scene?
Thanks to Wilker, he told me one day I was on vacations, and he told me that when I come home I should play this game. So I just started playing. I played around last year, I think.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Yeah,
I want to say last April.
Yeah.
No, it was April of 2023, right? So it was like 2 years ago.
Oh, wow. Go to them first. Yeah, 2 years, 1 year playing this game. I, I'm not the newest player, but I think I found a good game in this playing Street Fighter 1 plus plus.
So what do you like about it? I mean, you come home and you try it. Like what instantly makes it like, hey, this game is really fun. I should get better at this.
Oh yeah. One thing that I'm not a fighting game player. I will say the only other fighting game I played before is like Smash Bros. And that is not like a true fighting game.
Oh, whoa.
So, yeah, So when I started playing this game, I really liked that the run were fast, like pure neutral, and a simple punish, and you win or you lost. Really simple. Like in Street Fighter 2 or other games, I can see like combos or a string of attacks that are like 1,000 combos, and you do 2 damage at the end of that. And I hate that. I hate that. So in this game, like I first started playing with Mike versus Wilker. He introduced me to this game, and Mike can end the round in 3 attacks, so it's really fast.
That's really interesting that you say like I'm not really a fighting game guy. I'm a Smash guy. But Street Fighter 1 is a game you really enjoy. That's really interesting when you think about that.
Yes. See, yeah.
Especially because you got to think like Capcom when they made Street Fighter 1, I don't think they really had competition in mind. I think the 2-player mode is maybe an afterthought at best.
Yeah, for sure.
And then you guys come along and you made you adds all these extra characters, but still it's a game that's attracting people that don't normally play fighting games. So I think that's really cool. I think that's a really neat thing.
Like I'd say for myself, like I don't really I play other fighting games, but not really. My main squeeze was also Super Smash Brothers. Like that's how Toto and I met. Is we were in the same character Discord and just became really good friends.
Yeah, good Discord.
Yeah, and then Street Fighter 1 is just growing your friendship. It's kind of funny the paths we end up on sometimes like that.
Yeah, no. Some of the a lot of the Street Fighter 1 tournaments I've held have been some of the most fun nights I've ever had.
Yeah.
Really good community. Like I couldn't thank all of them enough.
Yeah. Same. Like I'm, I miss my English is not the best, but before I entered like this Discord, I was really bad. So I'm really grateful to all the people that try hard to understand me and correct me when I make mistakes when I talk. So it's a great experience to be in this server.
No, I think you're doing great, man. At Street Fighter 1 and English, I think you're doing great. So let me ask, so you kind of touched on this a little bit. Like Street Fighter 1 is a game that was never really intended for multi-character play. You got Ken and Ryu. I assume there's no difference between them, right? Like there's no difference mechanically.
That's the thing. There is a major difference.
Oh, what is it? Let's hear it.
Yes. Yeah. So if we look at I guess I could send it just because I mean this is our current community tier list, and I think when you see it, there will be some immediate questions, such as, let's see, 1 second. Sorry, just gotta grab it. There we go. Why is Ryu banned, but Ken's like hardly even in the upper half? And that there's a reason for that. So in this game, for whatever reason, so Shoryuken is infamous. Like it's just really broken because almost the entire attack is just iframe city. Like you just can't be hit. Ryu's, however, is a different level. From the frame you go into the Shoryuken until the frame you're actionable, you cannot be hit. There's no way to really if you just do perfect DPs one after another, just chain them, you can avoid being hit completely. Like there's no way to answer it. Ken, on the other hand, his DP works the same way, but it only gets its iframes on frame 5. So after you finish your DP and you're sitting there, like you are punishable. It's a great move, like if they're like jumping into you or something, or like you can use the iframes that way, but you can't use it to just like I don't want to say stall, but just avoid being hit forever.
Yeah, and it's a big punish.
And the logic used to be like, well, who's gonna actually do this? Like it must be really hard to chain DPs together, but it really isn't. Like I booted up one time, and I think on my second attempt I got like 7 in a row, which is more than enough to be like worth banning. Otherwise they're not that different. I think Ken has a slightly slower medium kick or something, but that never comes up in tournament. Yeah. It's so mainly the DP difference.
Yeah, so in vanilla, the Ryu versus Ken matchup is not 50-50. It's like
no, it's
100-0.
I mean, technically, it might as well be. I mean, I don't know. I don't know what you're just at a fundamental disadvantage as Ken, which is something we only figured out after a lot of testing, like a year ago. Is like these two characters don't even have the same DP, and that's like one of their cornerstone moves.
Yeah.
So vanilla is just like, okay, are you on player one side? You're better off. Like you have an inherent disadvantage. You have an inherent advantage. But the great thing about plus is that not only can you select the CPU characters, but you can select Ryu and Ken on either side. So if you want to run like even Shoto mirrors, you can just have both players go Ryu or both players go Ken. There's no limit on, like player 1 has to be Ryu, player 2 has to be Ken, like that.
Yeah.
That's also removed.
And so if I were to take, for example, let's say I'm on 2-player side and I play as Ryu, he still has the superior iframes, correct? It doesn't change.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes.
correct.
He,
Yeah,
you just, if you can't punish him, yeah. Player 2 Ryu, same thing. We thought it's like, is this get messed up somehow in vanilla? But we went and tested it in vanilla. It's the same. It works there too. Yeah. I mean, if someone ever made a good argument for why Ryu shouldn't be banned, like I'm glad to hear it. But I've done I've done a lot of thinking myself, and the community pretty much agrees. It's like, it's extra true with Ryu. Like we have a character right here who's the exact same character, but the reason they're banned is it's not broken. So like we don't even really need Ryu to be around, because if you wanted to play Ryu or a character like Ryu, Ken is
right
otherwise identical.
Yeah, he's right there. It's right there, guys.
He's just we don't need him. So it was immediate. Okay, we're just gonna ban him, and never look back.
So that being said, I'm actually glad you brought that up, because one thing I wanted to do, so I'll put this in the video for the people watching on YouTube. If you're listening on like Spotify or something, you'll just have to go to the Street Fighter 1 Discord and look at the tier list. But I was hoping we could walk through this tier list and kind of talk about each character's secret sauce, like what's going on with those characters, because there's not that many. I think we could get it done without taking up too much time. So I think we all understand Ryu. Band S, top S++, whatever you want to call it. So next up, it looks like you got Sagat, who I remember being very hard to defeat in the normal player 1 game, and then Birdie. What's going on with those guys?
So let's start with Sagat. Sagat is, as you said, it's like anyone who's played the story mode, it's like this guy's just on something else. Like he's just broken to the nth degree. He has everything he needs, really. I mean, at first glance, it's like he can't even he actually can't jump. Sagat's the only character in the game who cannot jump. He has a flying knee attack, but in terms of like a traditional way to jump around, he's grounded. Like he's locked to the ground. But this doesn't really prove much of a hindrance, because he doesn't really need to jump to win. His Tiger Shot is the highest damage attack in the game. If we're just talking like single hit, it does. If you don't block it, it does over half your health bar, and it's a fast move. It's hard to even react to, because in this game fireballs just travel really fast and they do absurd damage. So between that and the fact that his flying knee attack is just a great aggression option, and he has like a I forget what button it is in later games, but his medium kick in this game, where he just does this like really long ranged like upwards kick, most characters can't get in on it. It's just a great zoning tool.
Yeah.
Now what keeps Sagat fair is the fact that he has very bad get off me options.
Yeah.
His jab doesn't work. It just doesn't have a hitbox for some reason. If it did, it's a frame 1, so it'd be really good, but it doesn't.
Yeah.
Thank goodness.
Thank goodness. Yeah.
But he doesn't really have a way to in this game, when you get hit, you can influence your launch.
Yeah.
So if you are in jump squat when you get hit, you're in the air, you'll instantly spike to the ground. If you are like crouching, it's different than if you get hit while standing.
Yeah.
There's all sorts of little tricks like that to like mix up how they have to follow up, because like there's no true combos in this game. Like you have invulnerability during hit stun, so they can't like keep you in combos like a Street Fighter 2. But there are frame traps where like a follow up is guaranteed, like after once you're actionable, because like you can't do anything to avoid it. Sagat is the most comboable, or I guess stringable character in the game for that reason. He can't jump, so he can't use jump squat to like try and mix up how he launches, and he can't use any other attacks to try and like go through you with his collision, like swap sides. Like he's a sitting duck. The only issue is his neutral. All his tools are so good that you're rarely going to get the chance to get in. But if you do, most characters who are good have like a one move loop that just shreds his health bar.
Kills the god. Yeah,
Um,
Mike, Lee, Eagle,
Mike, Lee,
Mhm.
Birdie,
Birdie.
Eagle,
Yeah.
Adon. I think Adon. I don't know about Adon. Gen
No,
does.
I don't think so.
Geki has a funny way to beat him, but it's not very viable. we'll get to Geki. He's a
Yeah,
treat.
Yeah, it looks like we got a little bit before we talk about Geki, just judging by this list.
But no, yeah. Tiger Shot is one of those moves that early on was considered the most broken move. It's like it just does absurd damage. It's super fast. The thing we noticed about immediately is unlike Fireball, like in later games, Tiger Shot's big thing is it goes up high, so it can't really hit crouching characters. But some characters can't even crouch. So what does that matter?
Yeah.
But the real difference is that Tiger Shot actually has a lot of end lag. It's faster than the Fireball in almost every way, but it has a lot of end lag. So sometimes you can punish it even on block. Like if you block it and you take the chip, like you're very positive. You can start loops that way and stuff, which wasn't a problem back then because people didn't really know about this. But nowadays, if you play Sagat, you have to be extremely careful with how you use your Tiger Shots.
Yeah.
It's more of a mix-up than it is just like I'll just throw it out twice and win the round. Like that used to be how it worked, but people are more okay with the idea of like, well, I don't have to, perfect the round. Like I'll take hits to get in. Like once you're okay with taking damage intentionally, to get a better position, yeah, he's still broken, but like there's ways to beat him. I guess it's hard to explain. He's just kind of a monster.
It's like good broken,
right.
like enough to be interesting, but like not
healthy.
There's counterplay.
No, for sure.
Yeah, there's counterplay.
No, he has definite flaws, but he also has definitive strengths. We've held. Sorry, I'll let you go, Toto.
No, I will say that right now Tiger Shot is best to use when you're out of Keystone because you can input a special move when you are flying in Keystone. You can input the special move, and when you land, you do the Tiger Shot in one frame one. So Arte Saga right now are doing that.
Yeah, I was gonna bring this up earlier, but I forget what the statistic is, but we held, I think, at least 5 major tournaments last year. I say major, they're like 10 people, but whatever.
Yeah.
We held like 5 tournaments last year. I think Sagat was on the winner's side of grand finals in all of them.
Yeah.
He's kind of just on top of things right now. Like he's not unbeatable, but no one can really pull the like I guess Goldilocks run together to make it happen and actually beat Sagat. So if you're like the best Sagat player right now, like you're just eating really well.
So let's step down one little notch. What about Birdie? Birdie is not the character I thought I would see up here. I'll be honest, but
all right. So Birdie.
Verde.
Birdie's a freak. Birdie has some similar tools to Sagat. He also has really good poking tools with a lot of disjoint. He's crazy fast.
Yeah, he has the best frame data in the game.
I would say so. Yeah, his mobility is absurd. His frame data is really good. He has his headbutt is like kind of like Sagat's flying knee, where like you could just like totally bum rush them. Or like just get all up in their face. Like Sagat's the better zoner, but I'd argue Birdie's the better aggressor. Birdie has so many ways to get in, on you, and once he's in, it's pretty hard to stop him. Almost all of his moves are worth using, so he has a lot of tools to mix up with. He can play. He doesn't even have to aggress. Like he's so good, like Sagat, that he can play offense or defense if he wants to. It just depends on who's playing him. I would say Birdie falls short though. But even besides not really having a projectile, is just the fact that his movement's kind of weird. Yeah. So, Sagat, most characters in the game, it's like they have these like it feels weird to call them walks. I mean, I guess they do walk sort of. Like, they kind of like stumble around. But Birdie's movement on the ground is more of like I guess I'd call it a dash, like in Third Strike, like when you press a direction twice, they do like that, like little like dashing hop thing.
Hop dash.
It's kind of like that, yeah. Except that's Birdie's only way of moving. So if you want to, I mean, he can move with like headbutt and stuff too, and like jumping actions and stuff. But like, he's very committal. He doesn't microspace very well. So if you're gonna move in, you have to be very confident in your positioning, or else you're gonna just dash right into an attack.
Yeah, he get double hit.
But no, yeah, Birdie just has really good loops. His light kick is the best normal in the game. It's fast, it's long ranged. It does pretty much everything you could ask of it. It hits crouchers. I don't think it's blockable. It's just a really good move. Birdie just has really good moves, and that's why both of these. However, Birdie hasn't quite pulled it together in tournament the same way Sagat has. I think my personal opinion is that he's a good bit harder to play. So for that reason, he's on Sagat's level. Like they both go pretty even versus each other and have great matchup spreads. But Birdie just doesn't quite have it, so he's lower in the same tier. Still really good though.
Yeah, it sounds like somewhat similar game plan to Sagat, maybe just lacking projectile, so that kind of sets him apart.
Yeah,
this game's kind of weird. It has a lot of moves that like how do I even put this? So moves can like multi-hit, like double hit, and I don't mean like if you're like it's like they do like Adon's like double roundhouse or things like that. I mean like a move can hit you, and then the next frame apply the hit again before you're even in hit stun. It's a weird glitch. It's a weird phenomenon. I don't know what causes it, but it happens on Birdie's attacks a lot. It happens on his headbutt, his jumping attacks. He also happens to get double hit a lot himself.
Yeah,
but it makes for some very, very fast rounds.
It's because of the way he walks. Like when he advances, he jumps and is in the like air state. So when he gets hit, he go to the ground and can get hit again.
Yeah, he leaves hit stun very quickly. There's also double hits like that where like you're in so little stun that like the move's still going on its active frames when you're actionable and you just get hit again. There's also those, but yeah. Other than that, I guess the thing I mentioned about Birdie is he's got the ability to teleport through the ground. It's not as broken as it sounds, but he can do it, I guess.
So,
his backwards jumping attack, and I say jumping attack. The CPUs are very weird. They don't have like jump and then attack. It's kind of like instant overheads in third strike. Like if you want to do a jumping attack, it's a different input completely. You will input it from the ground as a separate action. If you already have started like just a regular hop and you're just in the air, you can't just attack like whenever you want. Like animations are set in Street Fighter 1. Even with the Shotos, who actually that is how they work. Like they'll only put out their attack at a certain point in the jump. That is it. So on CPU characters, instead of doing like up and then an attack to do a jumping attack, you'll actually input down and punch in a various direction, like down diagonal forward, down diagonal backwards. Yeah,
like input that special.
Yeah, it's kind of like how you would think to input like a crouching attack, but then you're asking, okay, well, what about their crouching attacks then? Like, how does that work? And the answer is usually those are actually normal, like just standing buttons. Like, I think most characters, most characters with sweep kicks, it's just like their medium kick. Like, it sounds weird. It's like, but wait, like, so why? Like, why is it not that way? Like, I don't know. That's Imeji's doing. I guess it's just the way it makes the most sense. But yeah,
it might be similar to Mortal Kombat 2. Abystus, when he hacked the secret characters into that game, he had to go, and one of the things that, like, a lot of fighting games you can just use MAME cheats to play as bosses or whatever, but you couldn't do it in that game because of the way Midway programmed the hidden characters, so that when a human player controlled them, the game crashed because like all the inputs didn't point to anything. So I'm wondering if Yumeji, when he did this, he's like, okay, I've got this attack that Retsu does, let me just assign it to this, because there's already probably some weirdness going on because of the way Capcom made these characters.
No, yeah, for sure. It's interesting too. Like empty hops and jump attacks, you'll even have different trajectories and stuff. Like Eagle's forward empty hop goes really far forward, really fast. His forward jumping attack though goes like half the forward distance, and it ends sooner. Like it's a less it's less of a jump. Like it's shorter distance and doesn't go as high. But like that means that there are reasons to do an empty hop where you don't attack at all. because it'll either put you in further, or it won't send you in as far, and you can use it to get different spacing and stuff. So there are mix-ups. Also, if they try to block it in advance and you don't do an attack, you can mix them up that way. Most CPUs in this game only have, I'll be generous, 4 to 7 attacks total. If you count every jumping attack as just the jump attack. But
I think so, yeah.
It's enough. It's enough to make for very interesting matchups.
So you mentioned Eagle just a minute ago. It looks like Eagle is next at the top.
Yes.
In A1. What's going on with Eagle here?
Yes, so he's not quite on the level of the as I call them, the twins. He's got his own good stuff. He has a really good spinning attack. That is just, it moves you forward while attacking. I mean, what more could you really ask? It's just a good move.
Yeah,
a lot of fast pokes with. Once again, he's at the top, so he's got good damage, good frame data. But them, I would say his mobility is not the best. He's kind of sluggish.
Yeah,
his frame data on attacks is good, but his actual mobility isn't.
Yeah, he's glued to the ground. You
Yeah,
can hit him like 5 times in a row with Mike, for example.
Yeah, no, there's something weird about the way his launches are kind of buggy.
Yeah,
which is more of a downside than a plus, I would say.
Yes.
His other biggest thing is like he doesn't really have good ways to deal with like jumpers or crouchers, especially not crouchers. His jump attacks are kind of position. He does the attack part high up in the air, so you can't really use it to like approach crouchers. And his best moves are like his spins, which whiff on crouchers, and his jab, which whiffs on crouchers. So he only has one other move, and that's his only move that hits crouchers, and it's not the best. Like, it's a okay move, but it's not
decent.
Yeah,
Decent.
You're gonna use it because it's crouchers. That's the main reason you're gonna use it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's mainly his issue. Is he just kind of, a lot of his tools are good, but they kind of cover the same stuff, and he's just not very aggressive. He's a good zoner, but he can't really play both sides of the field. And despite the fact he can keep up, like, you could win a tournament with him solo, it's definitely harder. He has his counter picks.
So I seem to remember the one player game. He can use the baton spin to nullify Hadouken. Can the players do that as well?
Yes. So I've how do I put this? I found out about that, and I was like, wait, can we do that? No, we can't. It seems to just be a CP, like an actual computer controlled thing, where some of their attacks just at the later stages of the story mode will just nullify projectiles, or they can just outright block them with no chip. Yeah, no, that's not a. I believe me, I tried. I was like, oh, if we could do this, oh my god, but no, yeah, there's no way. Yeah, no, that's just a computer thing, and I don't know if it's for balance reasons. If Meji had player versus player in mind, or if it just wasn't something that could be replicated on human controllers. But yeah, no. If you try to attack a fireball, it's just going to go through your attack and mess you up. So,
all right,
kind of just have to jump it or block it.
So, word of warning to any Eagle mains out there thinking about playing the game: you don't get to spin to win through fireballs.
No, I mean, there's other places where you can spin to win because that's kind of what he does, but no, not through fireballs.
Speaking of spinning to win, doesn't Adon, or Adon, however you say it, doesn't he have a spinning Jagger kick? What's going on with Adon in this game?
All right, pretty wild guy.
And what is Adonarchy?
So we have a side format called Adonarchy, where we have banned the S tiers.
Yes.
You look at it, it's like, well, you only banned 2 characters, but in a pool of 11, that's a lot. It changes the meta because it's like these 2 characters who kind of these 2 characters at the top who don't really have bad matchups to speak of, or anything below even. Suddenly it's like you're only allowed, like, they're gone. They can't just come in and like dominate the meta. You actually have to play one of these characters who has like flaws and like weaknesses.
Yeah, and you can play Retsu in Anarchy.
Yeah, no, there's a lot more room for like counter pick stuff where it's like, I'm gonna dual main these characters because they cover each other's spreads well and stuff like that. A notable example I would say is Mike and Adon. cover each other's spreads pretty well.
Yes.
Speaking of Adon, so his whole thing, he has a really good jumping kick. You just described it. He jumps up. He does this like weird little like punch flip kick thing. It looks
Superman.
kind of cool, but kind of jank. He's really jank himself. He has a lot of animations that like jank around, can like swap sides with you. They don't really, they seem to defy all logic and physics, but what mainly holds him back is the fact that his jump attack is great, but it kind of leaves him in the air. Like, it's really anti-airable because there's a bit of lag before he can actually attack you. So if you move the reaches up there and swats him down, he doesn't really have a good way to get in, which is why he's A-, because his Sagat matchup right now is just really bad, even though most of his other matchups besides... most of his matchups are fine otherwise, but Sagat's medium kick is just such a good anti-air that you have to just mix them up to get around it. Like, you really have to mix them. It's hard.
So you mentioned he kind of hangs around in the air and it makes him vulnerable. So I noticed that Ken is sitting right below him. Can Ken not just Soryakin him out of existence? Or
that's what you'd think. So Ken's kind of a freak. I'll get to him in a second. The most of the other what I'd say about Adon is like he's kind of awkward to move with. He's kind of like Birdie, but at least Birdie's got like a fast dash. Like Birdie just only has turbo button. Like, he can only move like at Mach 10 wherever he's going. Adon's actually kind of sluggish on the ground. He does this like weird, awkward little like hop thing, and it's really slow. Doesn't go anywhere. Leaves you vulnerable. And yes, you can cancel it. Most outside of Birdie and Lee, every other character can cancel their walk when they're considered grounded into any action immediately. So you can use this to do what I call walk cancel, where you will press a walking direction and then the frame after or soon after, press down.
Yes.
To the crouch. Even if a character lacks a crouch or like their down button, like down doesn't seem to do anything on them, it'll still consider the animation to be interrupted and go into like that just standing animation or whatever. So you can use it to cancel these laggy hops and laggy walk animations to actually kind of move around fast. Even with that in mind, though, I've gotten pretty good at them, but there's only so much you can do. Adon's the first character with like a really bad matchup, and it's versus Sagat, who's the best character. So otherwise he'd be pretty good. His Birdie matchup's pretty decent. His Eagle matchup's not too bad. Like, if it's Sagat, it's just a problem. But he's another character I'd say is pretty hard, pretty fun to play.
Absolutely. He's
pretty deep. He has like multi punches, or he has like a frame one punch. He's got like the multi roundhouse kick. He's pretty fun.
He's one of my mains. I play him.
Ken's freaky. I say about every character, but actually, I guess Ken's really not so freaky. Ken's kind of boring, and that's why he's down where he is. He just doesn't have like DP is pretty good. It can multi hit. It's like pretty janky. It's fast, but it's very punishable. And so is Fireball. Both have a lot of end lag. So unless they block Fireball, or like it's actually kind of even on hit, or they hit by it, obviously, which launches them, and that's very positive on hit. Those are like his only two really good options, and they're pretty committal. And if you're a character like Adon, you can put Ken in a really bad situation because, sorry, I just got to rethink my train of thought here. Ken, like DP is good, but it only goes so far forward, and Fireball is good, but it only hits so far up. So if they just jump in at the right distance, you're kind of in like their blind spot. Ken can't really threaten you if you're approaching that way. So sometimes what you'll do is jump attacks are blockable, and Ken can, I guess, punish them if they're good enough to do the DP afterwards, but most people aren't. What you'll do is you'll empty hop it, because it's actually less committal, because you don't hang in the air to do the jump attack. And then as a Dawn, you'll just come up on Ken and just start throwing out unblockable moves. Because every CPU except Mike, unfortunately, and I think Geki has an unblockable move that just the Shoto Ken can block high, Ken can block low. It doesn't matter. It will hit him. He cannot block it. I don't know why. I don't know if it was to avoid just the thing that happens with Mike, where you just get a hit, hold down and back, and win the round. But what'll usually happen, what most of the matchups versus Ken look like, is the CPU will get in around the Fireball or the DP, wait for an opportunity to throw out a move, and then once they're in, just relentlessly spam whatever the unblockable attack is. In
Yeah.
Adon's case, he has two, but one is usually better, and it's his light kick. So you'll just get in, empty hop over the fireball, or jump attack over it if you predict fireball. If they do a DP, empty hop around that, or even just walk up on him, punish it when he lands, and then just start smother him with attacks. Most Kens are going to be pretty bad at trying to DP you away, or they can't because you're just positive on hit to the point where like they don't have 5 frames to set up the invincibility.
Mhm.
So usually how most matches go with Ken, I found, is that you make one mistake, the CPU or even the other, I guess not as much with other Kens, but like the CPU will get in, just mess you up, and then you're usually so frazzled that you're like, crap, I gotta get my DP, and you just start jumbling the inputs because you do actually have to like get the input right to even like that's not like Ken's issues. It's like Ken is doing all this work with having to you have to learn like the DP input, the fireball input, and the DP input actually like they both are harder than they look. And you're doing all of this just to have like 2 moves that are on par with like something Birdie just throws out as normal. Like he just presses like heavy punch, and he just has a move that's like as strong and is less committal.
Mhm.
So the truth is Ken's just kind of fallen to the wayside because he just doesn't really have anything going on
Yeah.
that other characters don't. Like his spread, like there's no matchup where he's right now where he's
Mike.
notably winning.
Only Mike, right?
So speaking of
Yeah.
Mike, Totobal,
Yeah,
didn't
speaking
you
of
say this was your guy, right? So tell us about
Yeah,
Mike.
I'll let
he's my
Toto
guy.
take Mike. He's got
Yeah.
a lot to say.
Mike has one of the like crazy tech in this game. He has the knee dash, where if you input one of the direction key and after that down, you like dash in the ground and crouch. You are still crouching, and you go really fast with it. You connect knee dash inputs in a row. Mike has one of the the strongest like attacks in the game. He has only one kick, but that is enough. You can kill all the characters doing only kick. And his high punch can has like missing hitbox, I will say. So you can really play really well with that move. You can
Yeah, missing
defeat
her
like
box.
you can defeat like 100%, like 80% of the jump attacks that other characters have doing only high punch. What other the thing he has? Oh well, he has a bad matchup versus Ken, versus
Lee and
uh,
Geki, I think, right?
Geki, Lee, and Ken. He has
Yep.
an infinite on Sagat. It's really good. It's hard to do. I will say it's the hardest thing I ever do in a video game to do, but it's possible to do. You only loop kick. You only loop the kick attack on Sagat, and in 3 hits you win the round. He has a great matchup versus Birdie. You can maintain Birdie like away for you doing high punch and kick. And what other thing? Mm, I will
Yeah.
say, yeah, okay.
Oh, sorry. Are you still saying? I was gonna add in some stuff.
Yeah, add.
Okay. Oh, sorry. Are you good then?
No, no, I'm ready. I'm ready.
Okay. Um. No, I was just gonna add in that. So yeah, like Toto said, Mike's got the D dash, and that's like his main squeeze.
Mm-hmm.
It just you can move while crouched. I mean,
Yep.
there's loads of applications for this. Like versus Sagat, for example, most characters when Tiger shots are nuts, like okay, I either have to block it and just take the chip, try and make something out of it, or I gotta just crouch it or jump it and avoid it. But Mike's kind of like, okay, well I'll crouch it, but I'm going to like dash under it and just get in on you and just start kicking you. And by of course kicking, I mean kicks a crouching punch. So yeah, he'll just get on you, do 3 hits, and kill you. 3 hits is pretty good. Most characters in the game average about 4 hits to kill, except
Mhm.
Sagat, I guess, because of Tiger's shot, and Ken. Mike just overall has the best damage per second in the game. If he can get if he can get in on you, you can just mash you with punches, and after 3 you're dead. Where Mike kind of falls short though is that he's kind of, I guess the word's simple. Like he only has 4 attacks, period, because he doesn't have a jumping attack at all. Like he has a jump, but he doesn't actually have any way to attack in the air. So his jab is like it has uses sometimes, and his only other attack is just a redundant and worse version of an existing attack. So he really only has like 2 attacks, and then like 2 good attacks and 1 like okay one. And if you can deal with his basic mix-ups on his high punch and low punch, it's like you can keep out his knee dash. You kind of have Mike checkmated. He's the character on the tier list who has like the most obvious counter picks. Like you'll just looking at his spread and it's like, why does this character in like the bottom 2 of the cast like have a 100-0 on him? And it's like because they just like Gaki just has all the tools he needs. It's like if you can actually just keep Mike out without much issue, like if you can stop his knee dashes, his forward jump doesn't go very far. He's kind of just toast. Like he has to rush down. He can't really afford to just sit there and like wait. Like perhaps like Eagle could or Lee or one of those characters. He's like the most obvious. Like I need to get in on you right now. But yeah. If you're cool with just using what he has, like he's pretty fun. Like he has, despite the fact he's pretty low on tools, he has just about everything he needs to be good into like the top tiers and stuff. Pretty fun.
Yeah, it's fun.
Yeah, that's also what I'd say about Mike. He just has a good time.
So I mean, hey, he's fully committed to the boxer thing, right? No kicks, even his kicks are punches. So if you like those kind of characters, hey, you got a character. So what about Lee? I think he has some sort of relation to Yun and Yang, but never been in a Street Fighter again. So what's going on with Lee?
He's kind of just you're all around like he's got pretty good moves. Nothing crazy, but he's got some good moves. His matchup spread's not crazy, but it's not terrible. Like he's kind of just the average middleman of the tier. He's not terrible into the top tiers. They're probably his worst matchups, but he's not terrible into them. He's not great into them. He has a notable counter pick into Eagle. He's really good versus Eagle. Yeah. And obviously really good into Mike. Yes.
Yeah.
But otherwise,
like Omniblock.
Yes. Oh yes, Omniblock. Yes. So blocking, we still don't fully understand it. It's kind of like this weird thing. As with everything else in Street Fighter 1. So how it works, to my understanding, is if you're playing through as a Shoto or something, like, they're doing an attack, I'll just block it. And there's not, unless you're blocking a projectile, there's not really any block stun in this game. There's no chip or anything. Like it's more of a parry, but you can keep holding the button. So there's no block stun. You can immediately punish. The only issue is that for some reason they didn't really seem to account for CPU versus CPU. So if you're a CPU versus a CPU, you can't block each other's attacks. Like you'll put up the block animation, you'll put your fists up to take it, but it's just gonna go right through it and not care. Be like, well, I hit you anyways. So then you're asking like, well, there's really no point in trying to block in those matchups. But for some weird reason, like after the block animation ends, because like most CPUs only have a limited time that can hold the block animation. Like it'll suddenly like they'll go back to standing, but you'll still be holding back, and then they can block it. It's very weird. It's very weird. It's only really useful for very laggy attacks, like jump attacks and stuff. But what makes Lee and Adon so weird is that their block animations actually have like reduced hurt boxes. So even though whatever the block box is like messed up, like they can still avoid being hit because like they have this. They just don't have a hurt box, so they'll go to get punched. They'll be blocking, and nothing will happen. Like it won't make the block noise either, because it's not registering a hit at all. It's just like, well, there's nothing there. You just hit air. So Adon and Lee specifically can kind of avoid attacks this way, even if they're unblockables. Like you can use this to parry Tiger Shot completely. It'll just go right through you if you time it right.
So Street Fighter 1 has parries too. I bet nobody
knew
Street Fighter 1 had parry tech in it.
it's very bizarre. It actually has more of a parry than a block.
Yeah.
And when it works, it's a pretty good parry. Yeah. Pretty broken if it worked right. I'm glad it doesn't, because if it did, every character would just be sitting there holding back and just punishing for free.
Mm-hmm.
What about our boy Gien down there? What's
So,
moving into bottom
Gien-
tier now?
Badly. He's badly.
Badly.
I don't even say that. He's like a one-hit wonder. He's like the opposite of Lee. So like Lee has like this very diverse kit. You're gonna use most of it because like it works well together. Gen kind of just has like this really good option he flaunts, and if you know how to beat it, you're good, basically. So he has this handstand kick, and like DP, it's for most of it coded in iframes. Like DP, it's also very long, so if you whiffs, you can punish it at the end. But yeah, if he's like, oh, you're gonna rush right into me, you can just throw it up there without any real thought and just hit you, and you can't beat it out. But otherwise, like, he's got an okay jump attack, and most of their tools just aren't very good. Like, he's kind of slow, doesn't really get in very well. His ground movement sucks. His air movement's okay.
Yeah,
He's just kind of he's kind of a gimmick character. He's like the gimmick character of the cast. Like, he has the handstand, and then he has like some okay options otherwise, but it's just not enough. If you're a character that has a move that's able to poke around the handstand, like your birdie or your eagle, and you can just like stand right outside the range and threaten it after it's done, he's gonna have to really work to like. He's not to work to mix it up. Like, you can't just like Gan used to be a top tier. There was a brief period where like everyone was like, "Oh no, he's broken because he has like this invincible move," but people started playing around it, and it's like, well, wait, what if we just wait for it to end, or like just bait it out? You know, like fighting game 101. And for that reason, Gen's kind of like the knowledge check. It's like, if you're just starting to learn the game, he's pretty hard. Once you understand how the game works, he's really not a problem.
So Gen is the lab character of Street Fighter 1. You just hit the lab and then you got it.
Yeah. No, he's cheese.
Only
I'm not
good
gonna lie.
matchup versus Ken and Ryu. Really.
Versus Ryu, I don't know about. I mean, I don't know. I mean, I say Ryu Ken is like unwinnable for Ken, but like, I guess if you have an invincible move yourself, you can kind of just play the war of attrition and just tie forever. I don't know.
So
And then there's Joe. So
moving down a tier to C, right?
Yeah.
So Joe is not your average Joe. Joe is kind of just like, I described Lee as like, you know, he's kind of got like mostly good options, and he's pretty well rounded, and he's pretty fleshed out. Joe's fleshed out.
But bad.
Yeah, he's like poorly rounded. It's like he's got a lot of options. They're all kind of mediocre, and they don't really like not a single one of them is actually like really good. He's your underdog. He's not like just the arbitrary uphill battle. He's like Sean in Third Strike. It's like, if you want to play a character who just clearly doesn't have the damage output of the other characters, and also just kind of is like mediocre in general, it's like, there's Joe. Like, Joe could beat Birdie, Joe could beat Sagat, but like, if you are winning, you're just the better. You're just the better player. Like, it's more of a player thing than like, oh my god, Joe carried me. Like, I wouldn't have done it without Joe.
Yeah.
He's like the disrespect character, I guess.
Can be, yeah.
And that's
not really good at anything.
even more so than Retsu, though. I see Retsu
Yes.
and Geki down there.
Retsu. I'll let Toto take most of it. I'm just gonna say, in my opinion, Retsu's another Gen. You know, he's got this really disjointed kick that's like totally. It's like broken. It's like off his foot completely, and it's the longest range move in the game. But like, no move. Only projectiles can even come close to what this move does. But for similar reasons to Gen, it's like, it's kind of laggy, and it's not really like, it's not that great on hit. So if the character can like take it and come in on you, it's like, it only does so much. Like, otherwise, Retsu's kit's pretty toned in, or pretty toned down. It's kind of like, you know, he's the first character you fight. He's not packing that much. He's got a really fast jump attack, but it's like mainly that and the roundhouse kick that's like just, for some reason, just like a phantom foot. Like, it's just 5 feet off his body. He just He
Yeah,
just he
yeah,
would hit you.
it's really good.
Most people when they first boot up and they fight Retsu, and I just heavy kick out. I'm like, bro, what is that? And I'm like, I don't know what to tell you.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'll let Toto take most of this one because it's Retsu's
No,
another character that like Toto's a master of.
yeah, yeah, yeah. I made a video on Retsu versus Eagle, by the way, so you can check it later.
Yeah,
I
you'll
will
have to
say that
send me that.
Retsu. Yeah, yeah, I will send you. I will say that Retsu is in the lowest in the tier, just because Sagat and Beard exist, nothing more. In Anarchy, and Retsu is really good. Like his only bad matchup in Anarchy is Mike and Tadis. He has like a pseudo infinite versus Ken. He can play the defensive game versus Eagle. He counter Aidon. He no counter. He does not counter Lee, but it's close. And he counter E again. So Retsu is really good. But Sagat and Beard exist, so he just die. Dies. Go to
Yeah,
heaven. He goes go to heaven.
he's another one. Yeah, he's kind of just like versus. He's at the bottom of the characters who we actually like think about. Like sometimes because he kind of just he has just graceful matchups into the top two. These two
Yeah.
big guys can kind of just like go. I don't care about your little roundhouse. Like,
Yeah.
I'm just gonna
Yeah.
I'm just gonna wait for it or come around it or get hit by it, not care, and just
Yeah.
just
Got both
eat this
figure
knee,
shot
eat
it.
my headbutt. Like I don't care. I'm gonna
Yeah.
out damage you because my frame data is better, my movement's better. Like
And
hey,
I
you have
got
this
no
little jump kick,
launch.
like that's cute. I'll take it. It's probably negative on hit versus me.
Yeah.
Um, it's like if your gimmick doesn't work as a low tier, it's like you don't win. You just don't. You can't do anything in the matchup, and that's kind of what those matchups are. Um, that being said, yeah, like Toto
Oh.
said, in a Donarchy, Retsu's pretty good because his two big
Yeah.
matchup problems are gone. Um,
Yes.
as we talked about the Dawn earlier, it's like character who's really anti-airable versus like the best, versus like the longest range anti-air in the game. It's like you're not getting in on that. So
Yeah.
Dawn kind of has to like flail and try like this weird like brute force and try to get in like most like the good characters do, except like he's kind of bad at it.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's another one of those like definite standout. Like this matchup's bad.
Yeah, it's really bad. I tried to make Birdie Retsu happen, but it's really hard. It's really bad. You cannot launch a Birdie with ulti moves that Retsu have. You cannot do nothing to him. He can just ignore it and start headbutting you and die.
Yeah, no, Retsu's damage output's actually not bad, but his like how positive or negative he is on hit, it's like different story. Like he just
Yeah.
doesn't, for whatever reason, he just struggles to launch versus the big boys. I don't know
Yes.
why, but he lacks a good launcher, so
Yes.
you can't really get them off of you, and he doesn't. His frame data is kind of poor, so like even his jab, I think is like a frame 4 or something. Like it has good
Frame
range, but it's a
3,
frame
I
4.
think.
Yeah, he's just missing. Yeah, it might be a frame 3. I'm trying to think. It's like either way, it's like not a frame 1.
Yeah.
Which is like only two characters have a frame 1. It's like it's a Dawn and Birdie, but Retsu's a character that like kind of needed one. Like he just doesn't have. It's like Sagat, where like you can't get them off of you, but without any of the offense really to back it up.
Mm-hmm.
Sounds
he just
like
has a giant sign on his head, just saying like, "Please, just rush me down and just never let me put out another attack again."
It's the fate of the character that you're going to face first in the story mode, I guess. It was either him and Joe, and what do you know? Both of them are kind of struggling. Sounds like. Except for this guy down at the very bottom, Geki.
Yep, he's our special little boy.
Why is Geki so terrible?
Pretty much anything you could say about a character. It's
Yeah.
like, go down the list. Frame data, awful.
Damage
output, pitiful.
Yeah, he's the only character that can kill the gas in 8 hits, I think.
If you're lucky, like you can get like 6. It's like, well, for
Yeah.
most of you, it's like, oh, 6 hits. Like, oh, that sounds pretty good. Like, you must have great Not in this game. Not in this game. If you're only doing like a 6th of my health bar per hit, and that's the best you can do. Like, that's your strong attack. It's like, that is bad. You are not going to make up the damage. You cannot get back life lead.
Yes.
Like I said, it's like his frame data is crap. His damage output's abysmal.
His block.
I think his fastest move is like frame 11. Like it's his block is like this really cool teleport. It's like, oh my god, like that's so cool. Like he's invincible.
He's
like like teleport around. It's like, no, it's predictable. It's a whole animation. You got to commit to it. You can punish it when he comes out sometimes. If like he has a few moments where you can kind of have use, and it's more so as like a gimmicky, like, how do you even describe it? He's just bad. He's so bad.
He's really bad.
But he has like this really weird, but he can kind of stall you. He has like these weird stall methods that work. Like if all the stars align, like he can set the stall setup where you can't hit him, and it's like, oh, awesome. This cool ninja character that's like already pretty garbage is like only good when he's really lame. It's like,
yeah.
No one plays Geki. It's like, oh, I'll try Geki. Like surely they're just, like he's got some cool stuff, and then they play him. It's like, oh, he has nothing. He has actually nothing. It's like someone put a, he's out of his depth. Like he's a rookie. This is like the pro league. Like, get out of here.
Yeah, absolutely.
So that's kind of the tier list then, and I appreciate the in-depth discussion and kind of going over that. But so that leads me to my next question, though. You mentioned that there was a lot of like counter picks and like characters had bad matchups. So when you talk about a competitive scenario, is Street Fighter 1 a game where you have like your true main and you live and die by that main, or is it a game where you kind of have to play counter picks if you want to succeed and just kind of see how it goes?
That depends. If you play a top tier, then sure, you can solo main no problem. But if you're looking at Mike or Dawn or Retsu, and you're like, hey, I really want to, or like Gad, you're like, I really want to play that character. It's like, that's cool. I mean, you're probably not going to make it very far if that's the only character you're playing, unless you do some absurd labbing and know something that I don't.
So is that where the Adenarchy kind of comes in? Because then you can play, have like true mains.
That's what you'd think, but frankly, a lot of the counter picks are strange. Like, I would say Plus is the kind of game where it's like you're probably going to want to know at least 2 or 3 characters like really well. And that sounds bad. It's like, oh, I have to take out time to learn 3 characters, but it's like the upside is that a lot of these characters, at least to just pick up, are so simple that once you understand how the game works, like button wise and stuff, if you're good at the game, you can pick up another character in like probably a couple of days. If you just get the info dump and it's like, okay, this is how it works.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there's certain characters that pair well than others, but yeah.
I will say that Sagat, Birdy, Eagle, Aidon, and Ken, you can solo pick.
See,
Mike, Elite, again, I don't think so.
Bracket luck, I would say, for Mike.
Yeah.
You have to hope that they don't know what Mike's counter picks are, which if you're in the community, you do. Or you have to hope that they're a fellow like die by the sword, like I will play Sagat, I will prove Sagat is like the best character, and then like maybe then you'll stand a chance. But like if there's no honor system, they're gonna go Mike, and if you're down in score, they're gonna go Geki, and they're gonna trade wins up the list until they reach until they complete the best of 9.
Mm-hmm.
So you guys do a best of 9 for your tournaments?
Matches are so quick that we have to do like it's first to 5 wins.
Gotcha.
We spend more time in the in between moments than we do actually playing the game. It's a problem. We're looking to mod it out, but matches end in like matches end in like 5 seconds, 5 to 10 seconds usually, or rounds. I mean, so pretty fast pace. That's kind of why I like it. You can get in 3 to 5 hits ends around. Move on to the next one.
So if you want to start, you just need to wait 100 seconds. No, it's less than that, but 100 seconds and you're ready. Next round you start. Next round to play.
How many times in the Discord when somebody wins a big tournament match, they say you've got a lot to learn before you beat me?
Honestly, I wish people said that more. It'd be really pretty cool. But
it was really good.
I think that's pinned in our general chat.
Yeah, because of course it has to be.
Yeah,
I think so.
That, and of course, where is it? That's the one of both people DPing into each other a bunch. Some classics in here.
Yeah, I was going to ask, so you can send some of those over. So I've been lurking. Like I said, we've been trying to get this call together for a while. So I've been kind of lurking in the Discord and the YouTube channel. If you guys had to give your defining moment for the game, something. So you guys said you didn't do a lot of fighting games, but you guys are familiar with Evo Moment 37?
Yeah, yep. The
Chun-Li
I forget how many
parry.
parries in a row. Yep, Justin Wong, Chun-Li,
Yep.
Daigo, yep, Chun-Li and Ken, and just parrying that super all day.
So what is the Evo Moment 37 for Street Fighter 1? You guys' opinion?
There's some good moments.
It's tough. Like every turn, is something crazy happens. This game is really janky sometimes, so you can see some crazy things happening when you watch it.
Oh, I should send this. We do have a clip compilation.
Oh yeah, the clip compilation.
Yeah, that's got to go in the podcast episode for sure.
It's kind of that, but it's really good.
We should put out another one. It's been a couple years, but it's got some good stuff in there. What else was I gonna say? But no, yeah, regarding maining and stuff, I would say that if you really want to solo main a character, just take out some time and lab them. You know, I mean, I probably know more about this game than anyone. I've put more time into it than I'd like to admit. But I mean, there's some stuff in this game even I don't know about. Like there was matchups where I'm like, I could tell you how this works. If you're like Joe Lee, like I haven't played that enough. I don't know. Like, there's matchups that I think I know, and then someone was like, what if I just do this? And I'm like, well, crap, I didn't think about that. Yeah, like I come out here and I say like this is how this is, and this character's the best and stuff. Like, frankly, our tier list changes quite a bit. Small meta, so many people. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Last year, Ken was like second or something, like the second best character.
Yeah, I know
that changed. So yeah, I would say you should probably learn different characters, just because I think it'll give you a better idea of how the game works.
Mm-hmm.
But if you were truly dedicated and you're like, I want to play Joe, darn it, I will play Joe and I will not play any other character. It's like, I mean, you could. I welcome that stuff. Like, push Joe. Win a tournament with Joe. Like, I'd love to see it.
I'll respect it either way.
Yeah, I'll respect it. I'm not gonna counterpick Joe. Like, Joe already has it hard enough.
This is coming from a guy who I consider myself a Jade main in Ultimate Mortal Kombat 3. And she's kind of a really weird pick for a main in that game. And that's kind of a game also where you have to kind of have multiple pocket characters, especially in 2025.
Yeah. Yeah, I haven't seen that much Mortal Kombat. I definitely should look into it more. It sounds pretty cool.
Mortal Kombat.
If you had to recommend a game.
Yeah, Mortal Kombat is currently in a bad place. I wouldn't pick up MK1 because the rumor on the street is the support is ending for it. But now that there's Fightcade, if you want to join like an old school MK game, I would suggest picking up Ultimate Mortal Kombat 3. It's an old school style of Mortal Kombat, but it's very fast paced. The characters are very quick to pick up because all the normals use the same inputs. So that makes it very weird from something like a Street Fighter where, you do a sweep with multiple characters, you're going to get kind of different things. But like you learn one character's normals, you have learned the entire cast normals. And I mean, they all have different properties and quirks, of course, but the inputs are the same. And so at that point, it just becomes about special moves, juggle ability, combos, that sort of thing. I would recommend you MK3. It's very easy to pick up, but it gets very deep when you start looking into like the deep tech. But
yeah, it's kind of like plus plus in that regard. Like it's a game that on its face, it's like most normals like are the same. Like one character, 80% of like every other character. It's like similar thing. That's the plus plus. It's like, oh, this character only has like 3 moves or like 3 moves worth using. It's like this matchup. I look at it, it just looks like you just use this move and win. It's like at lower level, yes. At lower level, I can say I remember week 1, slam into each other with whatever move you want and just hope you win. But at higher level, no. There's a lot of intricacy beyond what meets the eye. Like there's a lot of knowledge and like studying and like practice that goes into it.
Yeah, the camera, the the headbox, hoodbox difference.
And I do apologize.
Swaps.
Side swaps are pretty good. Toto's actually, I should have said this earlier. Toto's actually like our mid-tier hero.
Mid-tier hero.
he main yeah, like you said, like he mains Mike and he seconds Retsu. Like those are two characters that aren't even that high on the viability ranking or on the tier list. But
Yeah.
he's definitely the best with them, and he's the only Mike I fight with Sagat where I'm like, I could very well lose this. Like I don't
Yeah.
I don't know if I'll actually win this. And I'm playing the best character in the game. So if there's anyone at a point to be like, be determined, just push through, persevere. It's like I'd point at Toto. Toto hasn't picked up
Yeah,
Birdie yet. Toto
I
hasn't
won a
picked up
tournament
Sagat.
with Mike only.
Let's
But
go.
it was like, it was like 4 people in it, something like that.
Hey, still
But it still
counts.
win. It still counts.
It still counts. I mean,
It counts.
I forget who is it. Was I in it? I forget.
And your controller broke that day.
Oh right, yeah. Oh, that was the day I was playing with keyboard Gertie, and I was like, oh, this sucks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, hey, if you're playing Street Fighter 1, you're probably playing with people that know what they're doing. So if you win a tournament out of 4 people, I mean, I think it counts. I'll give you that.
That is true. That is true. I say this a lot. We're a tightly knit community. We have different people who are dedicated at different times, but there's no slouchers. Like you don't enter a bracket and just go, well, this guy's a freebie. It's like no, even our like bottom seed of bracket is like pretty experienced. So you definitely don't feel bad about going out at a low placement. It's tough competition. I definitely don't be deterred for entering tournaments though. Like just we hold friendly sessions every other week. We have like voice call nights and stuff. We have a lot of resources. We're updating our wiki every day. And if you have any questions in the server, like I'll gladly answer.
Where is the wiki? Where are you guys hosting the Street Fighter 1 wiki?
It is on the SRK wiki. Let me see if I can pull it up.
I feel like all these, I hang out in all these obscure fighting game communities, and it seems like you got some on Super Combo, you got some on Mizumi. They're just kind of scattered, and you have to go looking. So I'll put a link to that down below so everybody can check that out.
It says very work in progress. I think that still applies. We just got a wiki page for like Sagat and Birdie like within the last couple months. So it's coming along though. It's coming along. I can't guarantee that everything on there is accurate or up to date, but it should be a good starting point.
Yeah, and they can always hop in with you guys. Totobal, I expect to see that Mike wiki page done very soon so I can learn how to win with Mike.
I can do it. Yeah, I need to laugh Eli really. I need to. I put how to do that. No, that was it.
So it sounds like it's a pretty tight-knit community. It's a welcoming community that you can just pick up and play. And I imagine you guys are all pretty passionate about the game. And that's kind of what I see as I talk to, like I said, what kind of kicked off this whole podcast idea was talking to the X-Men Coda community. And I mean, you can go in that Discord and ask a question, and within seconds you'll get an answer. I mean, it's crazy how much people care about these obscure fighting games that are, just out there. And a lot of people wouldn't think, hey, let's go play this. But so many people are.
I mean, if you look at my Fightcade page, it's like it's just otherworldly. I think. Let me pull up the statistics real quick. I have. There we go. 236.5 hours on Street Fighter Plus Plus, 60.7 on Street Fighter 1, and most of that was actually when Plus Plus was on Vanilla Lobby, so that's also Plus Plus. And then my next most played game is JoJo HFTF at 19.2 hours. So like most of my hours are on Street Fighter 1. I like most people, like the next highest person I think is at like maybe half that total. So, and I've spent more time than that labbing. Like that's just online games. Like I've probably put in quadruple digits just labbing out interactions, seeing how things work. I'm kind of like a encyclopedia on the game.
It had to be somebody.
Which is why I'm sorry if like I probably have said a bunch of stuff throughout this video where it's like I'm just rambling and it's just an incoherent string of nonsense. But so I apologize on that. Like I just start talking and I just start like yapping about like like matchups and stuff. Like
no, that's the whole point. That's the whole point is to bring to light these old school fighting games because like I guarantee you there's so many people. I don't know how many people watch it. Hopefully a lot, but. How many people that are going to come in and watch this know the intricacies of frame data in Street Fighter 1? How many times have you given me like frame data for Street Fighter 1?
I could tell you like what Gen's straight jump attack comes out on frame 18. It is the fastest jump attack in the game, not counting, I think, Sagat's knee attacks. Followed up by Retsu's jump attack forward and neutral, which are frame 21. Like I've just done the frame advances and like labbed out scenarios so much, like I know all these numbers.
Yeah.
But
And before
yeah,
was
no, it's
harder because we don't have the tool to see the hitbox.
no, yeah, we just, despite our passion, we just got our hitbox. We were like,
Yeah.
I think in August, and that was a major help.
But
It
I was
helped us figure out a lot.
So are
I
Street
was
Fighter
1 month loving things.
So are Street Fighter 1 hitboxes as wacky as, like, you know, somebody who just casually plays the game and like, oh, this is janky, or are they actually pretty good?
Yeah. Let me send some examples here. Hold on. I have some pretty good. Let's see. Where is it? Let's see if I find it. That's not it. I have a pretty good example here. Oh, yeah. Everybody's looking now. But no, while I find it, yeah, I was gonna say, yeah, I've definitely talked a lot tonight, and if anyone has any questions, like this dude's talking like Omniblocks and LI and all this stuff, like what the heck is that stuff? Like that doesn't sound like it makes any sense. Like, yeah, I'm in the Discord server. If you want to join up and just ask, like, I'll gladly answer any questions.
Yeah, me too.
I may not be the best at explaining stuff, but
And I recommend you do join if you're at all interested by this episode and competitive Street Fighter 1, or if you just like boss hacks. I really enjoy boss hacks. This is like one of the quintessential boss hacks you have to play. So that being said...
oh, there we go. Found it.
Okay, great. I'll pop that up.
So the green boxes is collision. The dark blue is the hurt box, and the light blue one is the hit box. That is Retsu heavy kick. That is the one that's like look at that. Like that
doesn't really match.
No, not at all. And then you got like
Hello.
let's see, you got this. Let's see, where is it?
Try to find the Omniblock ones.
Like this is an interaction, I guess. Like it doesn't really. Yeah, like if you're looking at these, like most hitboxes are like, I would say usually at the edge of the limb. Maybe a little beyond, maybe a little bit short, but usually around the limb. So if you're a character like Birdie or Sagat who has really long limbs, that's a good thing, because usually, as you're seeing, it's like you have one main hurt box, and it's usually the torso. So like there's not like, it's not like Third Strike where there's like like 5 or 6 like deep intricate like hurt boxes that like come together to make this like human-esque like hurt box, or like it's precise and specific. No, in SF1 it's like there's a big blue slab. It's like if you're hitting that, you're on point, and if you're not, you're not. So limbs.
So if you like heavies, if you like super heavy characters, this is the game for you.
Yes, no, arms and legs might as well be swords.
Yeah.
Oh, another thing I forgot to mention. This game's another interesting thing about this game that's not. I haven't seen it in any other game. I could be wrong. Maybe it is in other games, but this game actually has what I'd like to call weak boxes. So if you're looking at the image of Birdie and Lee there, you'll notice that there is a small box within the big box. That is the weak box. So if you hit that, you will do a little bit of extra damage, and you might also have a different launch. A move that otherwise just would tumble them back might launch them, or it might launch them more faster or slower, or some other effect. Which makes damage varied. Like if you just barely graze someone, it's going to do less damage. It might not combo right. So there's a lot of intricacy there as well.
Yeah.
Usually it's found at the head, but it might also be on the chest.
Or into 0-0.
Yes, that is true. Adon and Sagat, I think they were trying to remove it. That's my working theory. But the result is that it's just a 1 pixel weak box in the center of their collision.
Yes.
So if you strike that, you hit their weak box. And there are some matchups where you actually don't want to hit the weak box. It launches them in an unfavorable way for your follow-up, or it's just it pushes them too far away, or some other thing. And then of course there's ones where you do, but yeah, it's just another interesting facet of the game that I don't really see in, other fighters. In other fighters, it's like, there are a bunch of hurt boxes, but they usually, all do the same thing. Like if I hit your arm, or I hit your leg, or I hit your head, it's usually the same effect, regardless.
But not Street
And it's
Fighter
just cool to
1.
see all these. No, yeah, it's just cool to see all these things. It's like this game is clearly from like a Wild West period where like they were figuring out stuff like, should we have weak boxes, and should we have like, how should jumping work? How should blocking work? How should specials work? Like how should the game feel? How should you move? It's like that's a lot of the reason I'm interested in the game. Is it's like a freeze frame in time of like, this is what fighting games were like in 1987. Like this game is clearly from before, we standardized like how combos should work and stuff. It's just a really unique experience is how I'd sum it up. Like it's definitely not like any other fighting game out there, for better or for worse.
So that's actually a really good segue to one of my final questions here. So let's say I'm watching or I'm listening to this and I'm thinking, okay, this sounds like a fun game. What is your like 30-second elevator pitch to push them over the edge to why they should come play Street Fighter 1 Plus Plus in 2025?
All right, Toto, if you want to go first, you can
No. Go you.
Okay. I'm gonna start the clock here.
You sell me this game to me.
Yeah, 30 seconds. You got to sell the game to the Shark Tank. Yeah, what's
all right?
the pitch?
I will start in 1, 2, 3. Okay, so if you want to get straight to the point and you want to skip all of like the 50 hit combos and you just want to play raw neutral with where just spacing is key, and you finish the rounds over like that, like you're rewarded for getting your hits being done. It's just straightforward, easy to pick up, but also unique, and it's also a power fantasy. Like every character is super strong. It's like SF++ is your game. Like if you just want to like, just be an all powerful being, like a turbo powerful being, like this is the game. Just 3 to 5 hits clears a round, and you skip a lot of the mundane stuff of the other games where it's like I got my 20 hit combo now to get like a quarter of their health bar. It's like Street Fighter 1 gets straight to the point. It's just the raw neutral, and that's why I love it.
Pure neutral and fast punish.
It's a game like no other. That's my pitch.
Yeah.
What do you think, Toto? What would you say to convince somebody
I don't
to play
have
this?
said it better. Couldn't have said it better. It's exactly like Wildcard782 said. It's a fast game with a strong punish. The neutral is key in this game. You need to be precise in every move. You need to know how to bait the rival. You need to know your rival. You need to know how to do the jump attacks. When to get in, when to get out of the other character. It has really good touch to know, to laugh, and to practice. When I was learning this game, I was practicing knee dash every day. Every day I was practicing knee dash. So, you like a game with really cool touch, this is your game too.
Awesome. It sounds like it. I can really respect the neutral thing. I think a lot of, we hear so much talk about neutral and like what is neutral and playing neutral. I think that's really cool that it was here all along in Street Fighter 1. So
yeah. Oh, sorry. I just want to add one more thing. I forgot to mention this. Most games, this game, if I had to equate its damage, like if I couldn't just show someone like a health bar, the average normal in this game is like a super in like Street Fighter Turbo or like Street Fighter Alpha. It's like imagine playing a game where pretty much every attack you do is like a super. It's just it's just a power fantasy. It's just you feel like you're playing this like overtuned like beast, and like but they're also playing. It's like Godzilla versus like King Kong or something. Like it's just crazy. That's like and like you never know what's gonna happen. The game's just like it's like kind of a jank fest, but in a fun way. Like there's movement tech in this game. Like I don't find that much movement tech in like other Street Fighter games, but SF1 it's like you have block cancels, you have like Birdie's got the jump attack that goes through the floor. There's ways to like side swap tech and launch influence. It's like
camera launch, LAI.
It does. Yeah, no, yeah. There's just so much to this game. Like, there's crouching directions. Like on Ken and Ryu, you can see it visibly. But like every character has it, and that's how Mike the Dash works. Is it's like if you crouch as Ryu or Ken and you move like between the downward directions, you can actually see them like go inward, like go forward, go backwards. Like there's like different crouching directions. It's like what other game has this? Like what other game has like a forward crouch or a backwards crouch, and it actually affects your frame data and stuff. Like if you do a light punch from forward, it's faster. If you do a heavy punch from backwards, it's faster. Like just really cool stuff.
What a game.
What a game.
If that doesn't convince you to try Street Fighter 1 in 2025, I don't know what will. Guys, you've been awesome. This has been great. Before we wrap it up, though, what's coming up? What's next for Street Fighter 1 that you want people to know about? Where can you go to keep up with the SF1 scene?
Well,
in 2 weeks.
Yes, 2 weeks. This year we started. We're finally starting a power ranking system. So tournaments will now. The results of tournaments will now go into like a data sheet, and we will use that to determine, the hierarchy of the server, like who's the best, who's the second best. And I would say now is the good time to jump in because we just held our first tournament for the Dawnarchy series, and we're gonna hold our first tournament for the standard format, probably before the end of the month's over. And it's a good time to jump in. We're gonna have our next tournament probably within the week. If you want extra time to just stop in, learn the game, play out a matchup, see if you like it. Yeah, like it just. I would say that things are going in the right direction. Community's growing slowly but surely. We first time we hold it, maybe there's 4 people, then there's 6, then there's 8. It's been a slow growth, but it's definitely growing.
It's growing.
And there are people who are dropping out of the game too. So it's not just like we gained like 2 people in a year. It's like we might gain 4, and like one of our old people might retire. Like we had a really good player, who is currently on hiatus, and if they come back, like that would seriously shake results. So
who definitely are the top players? Like if you had to say, hey, go watch this person, if you want to see the highest level.
I would say that I'm top 2. It's probably me, Slam Jam. Toto's is a top player. Toto's probably like 3rd or 4th. I would say if Ellie Tin Can ever comes back, like they're a pretty good player. Ascent, props to Ascent, Baking Clan. Like, there's pretty much anyone you watch. It's like you're gonna learn something. Just a lot of really, really good people in the community.
Well, if you want to learn Lee, you need to watch Gyro Man.
Yeah. If you want to learn Mike, Toto, if you want to learn Eagle, Ascent.
Yeah. If you want to learn Ritsu, watch my video. Watch me playing.
But no, yeah, it's just I would say that now is a good time to jump in. We have a lot of people who just joined the server within the last couple of months, and they're starting to catch up. They're starting to get the hang of things. Ascent, just got their first tournament win. Earlier this month. And to the point of solo maining, it was with like 90% Eagle. So yeah, I would say that if there was ever a time to jump in, it'd be now. We have more resources than ever. We have more tournaments than ever. We have a community to the point now where if you go into matchmaking and actually ping the roll, like you might actually get a game before the night's over. Someone might actually be on to play. So
So it sounds like they've got it going on over there at the Street Fighter 1 Discord. Links to all this and more will be below. Again, Wildcard, Toto, thanks so much, guys. You don't know how much it means to have you guys here and talk about this wacky old hack of a game. It's really cool.
I love this game.
No problem.